Hello and welcome. Fantastic to have you here at Nuts and Bolts. Great to see you again. We've got a fantastic session on today, and it's all about how can we get our message across to somebody else in a really succinct and refined way, because there's so many times that we get caught ad hoc where somebody asks us something and we either put in too much information or too much detail, or we don't put enough in, and then we get all flustered with our words and all those sorts of things. And it happens to us all the time, right? You're not the Lone Ranger if this happens to you. This is something that happens to a lot of people. So what I want to do is I want to show you a model that you can follow that will help you get your messaging across in a really succinct way. So let's give you a scenario here. First, before I give you the scenario, that you might have heard of this model, right? It's called STAR, S-T-A-R. So it's situation, task, action, and result. So we're going to go through that today, and I'm going to show you how to use it. So let's pretend, for example, that you're in an interview and somebody has asked you, one of the interviewees has asked you, okay, so tell us about a time where you feel like you did really, really well in a public speaking sort of situation. Okay, let's pretend they ask you that. So what we're going to do, we're going to answer that question using STAR. I'm trying to put my fingers here. STAR, situation, task, action, result. Okay, so let me show you how to do it. So with a situation, any of these, try and stick them to about 1 or 2 sentences, no more than that. Okay, if they want to have more information, they'll ask you a bit more, and that's okay. So situation. So first you find yourself in the situation. Remember, 1 sentence if we can do it. And what you're answering in the S of the STAR, the situation, is the where, the who, and the when. The where, the who, and the when. So I've got a sentence down here, and I'd like to read it out to you. So this is what you could say. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, I was in a director's meeting at the main plant that I used to work. So you've done the where, the who, and the when. So that was about you, where it was, and when it was. Next thing you'd talk about is task. So situation, task. Task is you're going to answer the question, what? So, for example, I was asked to present last year's sales figures to the group. So that's task. Action. Now this is, you're going to answer the question how in this particular one. Again, I'm only going to use 1 sentence. So I pulled out my laptop, fired up the PowerPoint, and presented my slideshow to the audience. Right, that's the action that you took. And then the result, again, we're going to try and do one sentence if we possibly can here. Everyone was wowed by my prep work and by our great figures, and the presentation went down really well. Okay, so let's have a look at that. So someone has just asked you in an interview, tell me before when you've done when you've been in a public speaking type situation, and you've gone back with a few weeks ago. I was in a director's meeting at one of our main plants in my last job. I was asked to present last year's sales figures to the group. So I pulled out my laptop, fired up the PowerPoint, and presented my slideshow. Everybody was wowed by my prep work and by our great figures, and the presentation went down really well. So there you can see you've added in your situation, your task, your action, and your result really succinctly. And if they've got any more questions, they can ask you. But at that stage, it's a really succinct, highly confidently presented action from what the question that they've asked you. So it's a great response, right? So you can use this STAR, S-T-A-R, in interviews. If an incident has happened with your team and you're talking to HR, if you're going to your boss asking for a pay rise, any sort of situation that you want, you can use this model. And it really helps you. So if you've got time to prepare, it'll take you, 10 minutes to prepare and put it in STAR. So the situation, the task, the action you took, and the result of it. Absolutely perfect to be able to present in a really succinct manner. So I hope that helped. I hope that's going to help you in the future if you want to get your messaging across in a really great way that it can be received. And don't miss out on next week. We've got a great session on next week as well. So remember, if you need anything, if you have got an issue, a concern, if something is bugging you, just contact us here at ask@teamleadertoolkit.com and we will throw a video together just like this one. But until then, fantastic to have you here and we'll see you next week. Cheers. Bye for now.